Hello, my name's Lindsay Beck. I'm an occupational therapist and placement coordinator in mental health services for older people. We're just going to do a short video with my colleague Catherine Pickants and occupational therapy student Heather Smith about our experience of offering a placement during the COVID pandemic. So first of all, I'm going to talk about my coordinator role. I think the first thing about my role was about encouraging the occupational therapist to think about having a student. Staff are feeling tired and anxious, and it's about setting the sort of the expectations and managing those. We all want to give a gold standard, but I think it's about giving an acceptable standard. And I'm here to help with quality assurance and also to think about things differently, to think about projects and doing things in a different way, because it's more difficult to do some of the usual things that we do. I also think about things like making sure that we've got the structures in place. So, for instance, that Heather had access to a laptop so that she could work from home and helping with sort of social distancing. And lastly, about working with great staff that are flexible. With the COVID pandemic, it's affected our ability to manage lots of practical things like childcare. And it's not only for the educators, but it's also for students. So we had to alter the placement at the last moment. But Heather and Catherine were incredibly flexible, and that helped make the placement successful as far as I was concerned. Over to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Lindsay. So I'm an OT that works in the Working Age Dementia Diagnostic Service in MESOP. Heather spent 12 weeks on placement with myself and another educator from September to December last year. It was a really positive experience. I think thinking about how we had to adapt the placement, we had to be really organised, I think, ahead of the placement. So thinking about booking in all our supervisions and times for reflections and the reports was really important. I think as the placement started, we realised some of the things that maybe Heather might have missed. Might be that networking time, that team building time in the office. Where students get the chance to sort of form their identity really and integrate. So we were really conscious that Heather made time with each member of the team so that she had a chance to understand their roles and also sort of build those relationships, which I think was really important. We were really aware of things that we missed, like the conversations in the car where you would discuss cases, people that you'd seen, and sort of support your clinical reasoning. So really encouraged Heather to use reflections and share those reflections if she felt able to, which was a really good tool to support sort of her clinical reasoning and to demonstrate those skills. It was a great opportunity to give projects, so to allow some independent study, but to look at projects that would support our services. And I think that was really valuable, and Heather did those brilliantly and really contributed to the quality of our service. And I think generally, I felt that, you know, Heather's approach was really important. It was really positive. She came in and that made all the difference. I think you have to have that positive approach from the educator's perspective, but also from the student. And I think that really contributed to its success, really. Heather, I'll take over to you to see if you want to share your thoughts.
Thank you, Catherine. So my name's Heather Smith. I'm a final year occupational therapy student at the University of Derby. I joined the Working Age Dementia team covering both diagnostic and post-diagnostic, like Catherine said, from September to December of last year. I was a little apprehensive to begin with, knowing that I wasn't going to have that the group to liaise with. It was all done remotely. It was a lot of technology was having to be used. So just going on what Lindsay said, it was really crucial that I had that tech to begin with, like collecting the laptop, having the appropriate RIO training, doing the like the area related training as well. That all set me on like a good foundation for like the first week. Had quite a lot to get my teeth into. Just understanding the whole RIO system was a minefield, but it was good. I could do it at my own pace, and I had the other members of the team that I could always speak to. Just going on what Catherine said about the organisation, I think it was really crucial that we did each week we shared our calendars in Outlook. We were organised on what we were doing, who we were seeing. I kept Catherine up to date with what I was doing, whether or not it was research into the project I was doing for, which was an AMPS presentation, or whether it was with the other educator in the post-diagnostics. It was just that communication each morning, feeding back what I was doing, what I'd done the previous day, and then in making use of supervision, going through what had been going on, what we had booked in for the following week. Had I looked into those conditions, just to keep Catherine up to date with what I was doing. And then communication, it really was key. Following visits, like what Catherine said, that communication time that you have in the car, we didn't get that, but I didn't feel disadvantaged at all, because when we got back, we had arranged time to feed back. Then I would work on the assessment, feedback to Catherine. There was the other members of the team that I didn't just liaise with through Microsoft Teams. We had shared visits. I did assessments with them, just to understand their perspective, to get that interprofessional learning in. I was part of the team meetings, and then there was the OT forums as well. So we really did kind of get together. I started my placement not particularly wanting to go into mental health. I didn't see that as like my career, like my path. But coming out of this placement, I've now applied to go and do some bank work for Notts Healthcare, which I feel is really going to give me a good opportunity for when I qualify in the summer.
That's brilliant news. We're really pleased. Thank you, Heather.